TPLC educational talk show. I'm Melanie Hibbert, introducing this broadcast featuring Danny Thompson as guest on the TrustMeRadio.com talk show, Talk the Ting. Talk the Ting is a discussion show hosted by TheSpirit and DJ Genesis. The topic for discussion centered around the origins of Easter. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy this enlightened discussion featuring Danny Thompson of Evolving Creatives.
The Primary Learning Center.
I've got Danny here in the studio. Now,
hello.
Can you? I know your voice is kind of low and everything, but settle yourself in between in the mic so we can hear you. Okay, and like I said, he is going to be discussing, and we're going to, and it's gonna, it's all type of things. So let him introduce himself. There you go, Danny. Take the floor. Take the floor.
I'm Danny Thompson. I'm student and teacher of our history, and the Lauryn Hill piece that you just played, it resonated when she spoke about, a higher level of knowledge. She used the Matrix as an example in terms of when Neo at the end reaches that higher level of knowledge, i.e. higher level of consciousness, he's able to see things differently, the binary. And then she used her own example of her being able to recognize the agents of wickedness out there. And also, which I thought was very important, being able to recognize herself when she sometimes, we can be agents of wickedness to ourselves as well as others.
Self-sabotage.
So,
we do have a level of self-sabotage, and that, it can be born from our duality, but there's also the good and bad that we, when we were younger, we used to watch Tom and Jerry, and then on the shoulders used to be the good one, the bad, good cop and bad cop. Right. That is a reflection. But that is a reflection, an animated reflection of what we actually battle on a day-to-day. And as Lauryn Hill said, is about understanding that within ourselves and getting a control on it. And you can't get a control on it until you understand it. Too many people think that they're goodness and sweetness and light and everything else, and they're not. You're agents. You're agents to other people, and you're agents against yourself because you fail to understand your crosses. And there are many crosses out there within people, and some people are blindsided by it too. But as Lauryn Hill said, my level of awareness allows me to be able to identify you as the agent. I may not tell you, I may not show you, but I know you are there. Anyway, Danny, take the floor.
Okay. Welcome to all listening. With Easter coming up, I thought it would be a good time to look at the origin of Easter. We've got this. To most people, Easter is a bank holiday.
That's to me.
It's a bank holiday. Although, some people do go to church. What do we have? We have Good Friday, Saturday, Easter Sunday, all kind of thing. And we're in a Christian society, so our concept of Easter revolves around the story of Christ and the resurrection. The key elements of this story, which is the Christ figure, which is elements such as a painful death, in this case on the cross, the 3-day wait, the resurrection. These elements are much older than Christianity. And there are versions of the Christ figure, death and resurrection story in most religions. So I just wanted to kind of explore that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to set a question to our listeners, and I want you to phone in or text in if you know the answer, There are many symbols associated with Easter, one of which is the Easter bunny. You go in the shop now and you can buy chocolate in the shape of a bunny. So I'd like somebody to tell me, what is the relationship between bunny rabbit and Easter?
I did know this.
Celebration of resurrection.
I did know it. I did know it last year, but I've forgotten it now.
But you're an exceptional woman. Well,
I did know it. And it's got nothing to do with it.
But again, just looking at the symbols and the origins of the symbols.
Okay, let me give it the telephone number. It's 07414 809 594, and that again is 07414 809 594. You can come live or you can just send a text. If you know what the bunny rabbit...
What's the relationship
the
bunny rabbit and Easter, which is a celebration of resurrection. What's the connection between the two? It is a deep connection.
The Primary Learning Center.
In terms of looking at the origins of Easter, we also have to look at the origin of religion itself. And all religion is rooted in two fundamentals: is cosmology, as in the astral phenomena, and the land, the phenomena of the land. The astral, the sun, the moon, the stars, constellations, the land, including the plant life on it, the animal life on it. And a religion is a shared interpretation of the movements of both. Religious stories are ancestral creation stories rooted in cosmological phenomena and phenomena in physical nature. And what we did was we interpreted the characteristics of both. So our history, African history, is full of various animal thing. And you look at, excuse me, let me breathe. You look at ancient paintings, ancient visualization of deities. That would be part human and part animal. It doesn't say that we worship the animal. What we were doing was highlighting and bringing out the characteristic of that animal.
Before you go any further, I think there should be a general understanding on that within the Christian community, because Jesus is also described as the meek as lamb, as the lamb figure. So they can accept the lamb figure on that, but find difficulty in accepting the deities that's represented by those other animal figures.
Absolutely. And so all these astral phenomena, physical nature phenomena, we interpreted in folk story form. We are the number one storytellers of all time. We told the original stories that form the foundation for every other religion that's out there right now. Is rooted quite clearly in our original stories. And I'll give you an example. The cosmological origins, we, in our ancient ancestry, we studied, we observed the movements of the stars, the heavens, and what have you. We divided the skies into 12 what we call lunar houses. According to 12 houses that moved across the sky over the course of a year. We personified these movements. We recognized these movements and we connected them to the movements of the land. And we personified them as figures or animals. What we now know as zodiac signs, 12 signs of the zodiac. And we connected them in relation to what we were doing, production of the land and production of agriculture. So, for example, I'm an Aquarius. My original name is Harpy, Hapi. Harpy is the name that we gave to that constellation. That constellation appears at the same time as the River Nile, which was our sacred river, when the rains came and the River Nile would flood. And we understood the abundance that was bringing, that flood brought. It fertilized the land. It allowed us to irrigate the land, plant crops, and what have you. And our understanding of the constellation, moving across the sky over a 29-day period, allowed us to plan ahead because we understood one constellation leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So the appearance of the Harpy constellation, we know it's time, the river's going to flood now, you better get your seeds ready because the land's going to be ready for planting. Another example is Taurus the bull, what we know as Taurus the bull. In the original Kemetic is known as Ptah. Ptah symbolized as an ox. And it was time to plow the land and prepare for planting. Another example, which we know very well, is Virgo, the Virgin. Virgo, original name Isis. Isis, Virgin Mother. Both in the literal sense of giving birth to Horus, but also as Earth Mother giving birth to crops. So we celebrated that. We named that constellation that appeared at the time of harvest. We named it as Isis because we recognize, and if you look at the old images of Isis, she's there with a sheaf of corn. Because that's like I said, we created And it's interesting that it's a feminine in Isis's case. It's a feminine because we are the creators of the concept of Earth Mother. Do you understand? So the sun travels through these houses in the course of a year. Yeah, and during that course of the year, you have days get in winter. The days are shorter, days are shorter, nights are longer. The reverse for summer: longer days, shorter nights. You have two solstices. Excuse me. Winter, summer solstice, longest day, shortest day. You have two equinox, which are the times when the days and nights are equal. That happens twice a year. Everything I've just laid out, we conceived.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand? We conceived these astrological phenomena, put them into we personalize them either in animal form or ourselves human form, and we could go on. So the origin of resurrection, the origin of the resurrection concept is in observation and worship of the life, death, rebirth cycle of nature,
which is absolutely normal. Life, death, life cycle.
Absolutely.
No matter what part of nature you look at, you will find that concept.
Absolutely. So, and it's interesting that what we created still permeates in terms of we represented that, particularly crops that were fundamental to survival, bread, wheat, grain, and grapes. Make wine and also beer, like barley and what have you. These things reappear all over the place. In all religions, they're held sacred. You understand?
The Primary Learning Center.
Empower your children.
In terms of the origin of resurrection, again, the concept of resurrection, we had the concept of a daily resurrection. Yeah? We had the concept of a daily resurrection. Osiris, who represented day and light, versus Set, his brother, who represented dark and night, or death. In the morning, the daytime, Osiris ruled over Set. At night, Set killed him.
Yeah.
He died. Set ruled for the nighttime. And in the morning, God's son, S-U-N, was reborn. Osiris, a new day.
Yeah.
So every day was a resurrection.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is resurrection occurred in the concept of resurrection occurred on many levels. The spiritual level, the daily level, the concept of resurrection taking place over the course of a year. You understand? The Easter resurrection origin, the oldest documented resurrection story personifying man, as in bringing man to the center of that story, is the Osiris story.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find it in the Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
You can find it on the wall of the Temple of Luxor in Egypt, in present-day Egypt. And it's portrayed as a series of drawings. And these drawings tell the entire Christian, so-called Christian story of the miracle virgin birth, the adoration by the three kings, death, and resurrection.
Long before they say Jesus was born, okay?
Absolutely.
Long before that.
Absolutely. The Easter story itself is a personification of astral events. And it's closely tied up with the Christmas or the Christ Mass festival. They're intrinsically connected. And they are both interpretations of astral events. So let me take a quick drink and then I'd like to break it down as to what these astral events are. Now, in order to break down Easter, we have to step back 3 months earlier and step with Christmas, Christ Mass. We know the story of the three kings following the star in the east and coming to Bethlehem and da-da-da. The star in the east is Sirius. The brightest star visible from the naked eye. The three kings who followed this star, the three kings situated. The three kings are three stars that are situated on Orion's belt constellation. On December the 24th, they're in perfect alignment. The three stars of Orion's belt, which are called the three kings, and the star Sirius. They're in perfect alignment, and they point to the place of sunrise on December the 25th. Yeah? So in story form, it says the three kings are said to follow the star of the east to the place of God's son's birth. Yes, astrologically, the three kings, which are three stars on the constellation of Orion's belt, align themselves with the star of the east, Sirius, and they point to the birth of God's son, S-U-N.
Please don't get it misconstrued
Okay.
with S-O-N, S-U-N.
Mm-hmm. The sun travels, as days get shorter during the winter. So the sun gets lower and lower in the sky, and you can visualize it. You can see it happening over a period of time. December the 22nd. On December the 22nd, the sun stops moving. It dies, and it holds that position for 3 days. Okay. While it's there, this is a mind blower. While it's there in that held position for 3 days, it's also in direct alignment with a constellation called the Southern Cross, or it's called the Crux.
Yeah.
C-R-U-X. This constellation consists of 4 stars. When lines are drawn between them, they form what shape?
A cross.
A cross, otherwise known as a crucifix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm still dealing with purely astral phenomena. On December the 25th, the sun moves 1 degree north. It begins its journey of rebirth. It died on the 22nd. Sorry, the 22nd being the winter equinox. Yeah, shortest day. It dies. It stops. December the 25th, it moves 1 degree north. 26, another, thus getting bigger and bigger in the sky. However, we don't celebrate the resurrection until the spring equinox, which is March 21st. Why? Because that's the point when the days become longer than the nights. Between December 25th and March 21st, we're still in that where the nights are longer than the days. Yeah, and like I said about how the night represents evil, if you want, darkness, and the light represents God, God's sun, God's light. So on March 21st, that's when the sun finally defeats the dark, because that's when the day finally becomes longer than the night. Yeah, you understand? Longer than the night. So that's why we celebrate the resurrection. That's why we celebrate the resurrection on that date. Yeah, 21st. Even though the story begins at Christ Mass. Yeah, the story begins at Christ Mass, but it actually doesn't end until the resurrection on the spring equinox. So again, that's just a perfect example of how we would study the stars, study the movements, study the land in terms of length of days, etc., and we just put it together in a beautiful story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, we put it together in a beautiful story, but a story that has African, astronomical, cosmological concepts and roots. Do you understand? How we interpreted this planet and this world that we move in. So, the Christian Church initiates. Religion is split into two sets of people deal with religion. The initiates, those who have been initiated into the secrets of those religions, we call them priests, bishops, archbishops, so forth. And the masses. Yeah. We in the congregation. Church initiates know what I've spoken. Archbishops and stuff, they know what I have just laid out to you. They are fully aware of the cosmological origins and continuing practice of Easter. They don't tell that to their congregation. Yeah, it's about keeping the masses ignorant, because if you know the story that I've just told you, you don't need a priest. No. We need a priest for it. You know what I mean? So the priest telling you he's going to put himself out of a job. You know what I'm saying?
And he don't want to do that.
So Easter, so the Christian Church knows this, and so they calculate Easter as the first full moon after the vernal equinox. The vernal equinox being the spring equinox, March 21st. The full moon after that, the first full moon after that, they celebrate the Friday and the Sunday following that full moon.
Yeah.
And that is how they celebrate, how they calculate when it's Easter. Because
it moves from year to
absolutely.
year.
I was going to say, isn't it interesting that Christ Mass is the same?
Yeah.
Same date.
But yet Easter's all over the place.
Easter's all over the place. And here's the thing. This, what I've told you about, they're celebrating the Friday and the Saturday after the first full moon. This was first put into effect in 190 AD by Pope St. Victor, who happened to be an African pope.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So is that coincidence? I don't know. You know what I mean? He put forward the first calculations that we are still following today in terms of when is Easter on the calendar. So, yeah, it's deep.
It is deep.
And what I love about it is that, you know, we're going to the heart of a religion, and what do we find there? We find science. We find science. We find astral observation. We find observation and understanding of nature and all, and we just bring them all together. So in the Western mindset, you have this conversation that goes on about, you know, oh well, science is separate from spirit. Science is separate from religion, or what have you. No, sorry,
it's not. It can't. It's integral to each other.
It's absolutely integral.
To climb the mountains and cross the sea, be the best that they can be.
I'm going to speak some more on the Christ figure, because that's a very interesting
I think it's
concept.
I think it's a concept. I think it's a concept that does need to be explained, because, you know, I said at the beginning, the spirit isn't religious, and I'm not religious because I haven't bought into the allegory that they claim is the underpinning of Christianity or any other religion. For me, there is lots of falsehoods in there. There's lots of things that doesn't make sense to me, and the storyline certainly doesn't make sense. Trust me on that one. Do you know? Danny's just spoken about a visual understanding of the birthing of and the mother, the life, death, life cycle. This has happened thousands of years before the story of Jesus Christ. It happened long before, and you know, SUN became SON.
Absolutely.
And SON gives a different understanding.
Absolutely.
It gives a different understanding.
Fundamental shift.
Because at the end of the day, what Christianity is saying is that the baby is also the father. You know, and for me, it just doesn't make sense.
That's why they have to use this thing. Well, God works in mysterious ways.
I know, because that way, you know, because it just covers them all over the place. Now, you know, forgive me if I come across as quite offensive or anything like that. You've got your views and I've got mine, and you can hold on to your views. But I just want to read something. Okay, Mel's there stopping me. One moment.
I just want to interrupt because we had a message in reference to the question that Danny posed at the beginning.
What was the question again?
The relationship between the bunny rabbit and Easter resurrection.
All right. So the message that came in was rabbit's connotation in the English culture is they were at it like rabbits. So it may mean life or production.
No.
That's a good guess, but it's not the one.
No, that one doesn't resonate with me.
But I understand, and again, whoever said that is in terms of whoever said it said the Western interpretation.
Culture,
in you know, like the phrase, what was it? At it like rabbits.
At it like rabbits.
Yeah, well, we come far before that, so it's a good guess, but unfortunately not the correct one.
No.
So you don't get this prize, which the spirit has yet to work out what the prize is.
I know. Acknowledgement and knowledge further in you. Again, like I said, I do and I don't apologise. So I'm just going to read this and allow Danny to go on to the next part of what he's saying. But this is how I see Christianity in terms of Christmas and Easter and anything else that it represents. And this is something I found on social media, and I just had to save it because it was in a nutshell. Now, Christianity, the popular belief that a celestial Jewish baby who was also his own father, born from a virgin mother, died for 3 days, so he could ascend to heaven on a cloud and then make you live forever only if you symbolically eat his flesh, drink his blood, and telepathically tell him you accept him as your Lord and Master. So he can remove an evil force from your spiritual being that is present in all humanity, because an immoral woman made from the man's rib was hoodwinked by a talking reptile, possessed by a malicious angel to secretly eat forbidden fruit from a magical tree. Now, trust me, people, I do understand that it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek in the way that I've said it, but trust me, that's also the story that you tell. Now, I've just done a different spin on it, or I've read a different spin on it, but that's the story that I was grown up with.
And here's the point. It's a great story.
It's a brilliant story.
You know
He's held it for how many years?
Yeah, but if you just come up with that yesterday, you give that to Walt Disney, they're going to bust that into a movie. It's going to be a wicked part animation, part live action movie. But then to hold that as like, this is the absolute truth, which cannot be challenged or anything. That's when it becomes unhealthy.
And it became unhealthy when they used fear. Fear to indoctrinate that story into you, and to make that story passed down generationally to the point where we are still talking that story.
Absolutely.
Even with all its flaws and its imperfections and its holes, we're still holding it as truth.
I think part of that is, I think people, even if they might carry little self-doubt within them about the validity of the story and what have you, they're not being presented with an alternative.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if I decide I don't want to go to church on Sunday, I don't want to go to this Christian church I've been going to on a Sunday, or I don't want to go to the synagogue on Saturday, or I don't want to go to the mosque on Friday, then where do I go? Do you know what I mean? And that's a question that needs to be answered. Where do I go? What do I do? Because we are, if I say this, wherever you find religious foolishness, you will find us overrepresented.
Oh yeah,
overrepresented from the maddest what they call cults. Jim Jones in Guyana and David Koresh in Waco. There were enough black people in Waco, kind of stuff. Now, it's not because we're stupid.
No,
it's because we are the most spiritual people on this planet. We have a need and a desire to engage with life on a spiritual level. Some people go to church on a Sunday. You don't see them again till the next Sunday. African people, we there in a church Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. You know what I'm saying? We have that need, and it's like a child. A child it has an innate need for love. If they're not going to get it from their parents, they're going to go all over the place looking for it, and they're going to knock on many doors looking for it. And if somebody opens that door and welcomes them in with a smile, they're going to go in, believing that there's love for them there. Do you know what I mean?
So I do understand that. I do understand that people are searching, and it's an innate need to discover that connection that's been disconnected within themselves. I do understand that. But I think for me is that we tend to stop at this place that they call religion without, even if they had an element of doubt, they dismiss the possibility to consider something else. Now, you put this forward to somebody who is a devout Christian, they would chop off your head, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because they will defend it to the highest, and yet there is evidence. It's not I call it. There is a word. It's called cognitive dissonance. Okay, where there is evidence presented to you, but you just dismiss it as if it's not true. Now, what do you think is gonna happen if you even consider it? Do you think somebody's gonna come down and slap the hell out of you? No, it's not. It's not. It's something that, as black people, as Africans, as Danny said, we have this connection, this understanding with the spirit world.
And we need to understand what we have given birth to on this world, and
that it's being copied by other races. So it is phenomenal. Our history is phenomenal.
And in that context, I want to just speak a little about what I've called the Christ figure. The concept of the Christ, which I think there are many meanings, but the main one is the anointed one. Christ is the special one. Began in Africa as worshipping the Son as the source of all life.
S-U-N.
God, Son. S-U-N. And many cultures, religions have adopted this concept and personification of the Christ figure into their own practice. as I said earlier, Osiris and Horus are known as the earliest documented stories representing the Christ figure. So you had Horus, the Kemetic Christ figure, who was also born on the 25th of December, who was born of that virgin Isis, announced by a star in the east, adored by 3 kings. He was a child teacher at the age of 12, baptized at the age of 30. In Christianity, they say it was John the Baptist who baptized Christ. In the Kemetic, it was Anup, the deity Anup. And he was known by many names: the truth, the light, the good shepherd, the Lamb of God, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to give you a list of other religions that incorporate that resurrection story. Yeah? Buddha. Buddha, born on the same day of the Virgin Maya. His birth was announced by the arrival of a star, wise men, angels singing. It's a long list. I'm just going to go through them. Attis, a Christ figure in Greece. Krishna and Indra, we know of from India. Dionysus, ancient Greece. Mithra in Persia. Buddha, I've just said, in China. Odin in Scandinavia. Adonis and Tammuz, they were based in religious movements in Palestine. Paphos in Cyprus. Bakub, Marsyas, Artemis, I can't even say the names. Melkar, Sandan, Baal is a Mexican god. Quetzalcoatl. All of these, if you look into these religions and you look into those particular characters, they all tell the Christ story.
Yeah, they all tell it the same story differently.
They all tell it differently, but here's the thing: they all tell it and they represent it via themselves.
Yeah.
What does Krishna look like? Krishna looks like a man from India.
Yeah.
What does Buddha look like? Buddha looks like a man from China.
With Bantu knots on top of his head.
Bantu knots. Yeah. We go back far enough, you know what I mean? But, what I'm saying is that they have reinterpreted our story and express it through themselves.
Yeah.
So they create icons, they create Christ-like figures that look like them. So a young boy in India can look up at Krishna and say, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Well, I won't go into the negative about we're the one people who ain't looking at themselves.
But it's true. But we do need to. We do need to.
And that's my point of actually imparting this information. I don't need to trash anyone's religion.
No.
I'm not here to do that, and I don't need to do that because I'm just dealing with truth and rights. And my thing is celebrate the resurrection. Celebrate the resurrection. Celebrate it for the great celebration of the life cycle that it is. The life cycle within, the life cycle without. The life cycle on land, the life cycle in cosmology. But celebrate it, make it look like you.
Yeah.
Celebrate it, have Osiris on your wall, or Horus on your wall, or if you're gonna have the Virgin Mother, have Virgin Isis on the wall. Do you know what I'm saying? And to the point where all of these religions that I've just mentioned and the Christ-like figures, they all, had festivals commemorating death, a 3-day wait, resurrection, salvation through enduring pain. All took place around the 25th of March. Some of them, even the same, were crucified between 2 criminals, were said to have died for mankind's sins. They even have the same thing of Christ stepping out of his tomb and weeping women at the tomb, the stone seal being removed, even the symbol of the dove.
Yeah.
All of that. It's like,
Most of the visual displays are already displayed within the African history. It's already there. So it is about, it's not saying that even in terms of religion that they've got it wholly wrong. What it is that they're telling the same story differently.
Absolutely.
They're telling the same story differently. And then in that difference, it's being represented, as Danny said, to represent themselves.
If somebody buys you a birthday card, Spirit, if somebody buys you a birthday card and there's some skinny white woman on the card,
I know.
you're gonna, what's this got to do with me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is your birthday.
Yeah.
Your Earth Strong being celebrated. So that celebration must incorporate at least a visual representation of you. Anything else is like, what is this? Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and it is about why it's been taken away from us. Why has it been hidden from us? Why have they gone to such degrees to make sure that we don't know it?
You know them, you have man on Oxford Street, and you walk down Oxford Street or any busy street, and you see them man there that have them fake watches, the Rolex they're selling in the trades and stuff. Yeah. Them man there needs to keep selling us the fake Rolex. Yeah, because they can't let us understand. So, well, wait a minute. I built a wicked Rolex a few years ago, and I still got it in my yard. It's still in my consciousness.
Yeah.
Why am I spending my money buying this cheap fake copy from this man in the high road who's going to go off to his big house now, and I'm going to catch the bus home? You know what I mean? It's that kind of something.
Genesis mentioned a couple of weeks ago that was it you, Mel, that mentioned the little boy who thought that the pyramids were, it was Mel. Say that again.
All right. So there was a little boy. We was talking about Egypt, and he said that it was the devil that had built the pyramids, and I had to hold him up and put him right. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So thank you. And so who does that interpretation serve?
Well, it's not going to serve the black people. It's going to say, they fool you into believing your history is devilish just to keep you away from it.
And everything that you created is also of the devilish. And
The Primary Learning Center.
Let me know when you want the rabbit to be revealed.
Yeah, don't reveal it yet. Don't reveal it yet.
Let's reveal it at the end. Let's see if we get any more messages.
Yeah. And and the funny thing about it, that many people will actually take part in that ritual of buying Easter eggs and the bunny hunts and everything else in reference to Easter, but not understanding the connection between the two. I used to like chocolate. Well, I still do, but it doesn't like me. So, but then again, I haven't grown up religious, so I would buy the chocolate because I like the chocolate, not because of anything else. And I like the holidays. I'm not going to pretend I like the holidays.
It's a bank holiday?
Yeah, it's a bank holiday.
You get the Friday off, you get the Monday off.
And the Monday off.
People are planning some serious raving weekend. Trust.
And let's remember Good Friday at fish.
Oh yeah,
the fish. Yeah.
What is the
okay, the
relevance?
Fish. Excellent. Okay, in our understanding and putting together the movements of the cosmos, you have what's called, this is so deep. You have what's called the procession of the equinox. Now, listen, we've been dealing with Janet and John Book 1. We're going to step up now. It's called the procession of the equinox, and it's about cosmic astral cycles. There's a 26,000 year cycle, and that cycle
26,000
years
wow.
cycle. I think European scientists managed to calculate that in was it the 19th century? We had it calculated from at least 15,000 BC.
Wow, 15,000 BC before Christ.
Absolutely. So that cycle, and this is wicked. That cycle it consists of 12 ages. You might have heard the expression, we're entering the age of what?
Oh yeah.
The age of Aquarius.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. There's a song. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Come on, right. So each age, and that's correct. We are about to enter the age of Aquarius. Each age lasts 2,150 years. So the age of Aquarius begins in the year 2,150. Right,
2,150. Oh, I'm not going to be around.
So ask yourself this:
not in this fort.
So if that's the beginning of the age of Aquarius, and each age lasts 2,150 years, when did the last age start?
26,000 years ago.
No. The 26,000 consists of the 12 ages.
Okay.
Each age lasts 2,150 years. The date will be 2150.
It's about 12, 13.
And the Aquarius age is going to start in the year 2150.
So we have to go back.
To
take that
yeah, you have to take it. Yeah,
and you get to 1. You get to 1 AD.
Oh.
You understand?
Yeah.
Whose calendar are we using today?
Gregorian.
Right, and Gregorian is of what religious origin?
Isn't that Christianity?
Christianity, right? So Christianity, 1 AD.
Yeah.
Right. the age prior to Aquarius, Pisces.
Yeah.
What is the visual representation of Pisces?
What's
It relates to your question. Yeah, fish. It relates to your question.
Oh, yeah.
What was Jesus' occupation?
a fisherman?
Fisherman. The symbol of Pisces is two fish.
Yeah.
They face in opposite directions. Yeah. What did, and this is about knowing how to interpret the biblical stories. One of the miracles that Jesus was supposed to have done is that he fed the 5,000, and I read that he fed it with two fishes.
2 fishes and 1 bread, was
Right.
it?
Two loaves of bread.
2 loaves of bread and 2 fishes.
Well, I was reading one that I checked before I came, and it said that he had 2 fishes. So we were in the age of Pisces. If you look on church, you'll find 2 symbols. One would be the cross, and you'll also find a symbol of a fish. Yeah. Many people have it on their car. On their car bumpers. They're telling you, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Because I am of the Christian age, which began in 1 AD and goes on to 2150 AD. And also, the Bible says that Christ fed his 5,000 people with 2 fishes. It's not fed as in fill up their belly.
Yeah.
It's he fed them with the knowledge of the age of Pisces.
He edified them.
He edified them with the age of Pisces. Here's the thing. Before Pisces was the age of Aries. Now, you have to understand the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament. They're 2 separate books.
Yeah.
The Old Testament is Judaism.
Yeah.
The New Testament is Christ. And ain't no mention of Christ in the Old Testament. The Old Testament book. All right. Okay. The Old Testament takes place during the age of Aries. Okay, and what's the symbol for Aries that we created?
Ram.
The ram.
The ram.
And you go into any synagogue, any Jewish festival, what will they have? The ram's horn that they blow. Even the little things, the
The thingy that they have the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you know what I mean? So again, but you understand how deep it and how our everyday little things actually originate from astrology. Right. Prior to the age of Aries, Taurus, the bull. Now, Taurus, the bull, the transition between the age of Taurus and the age of Aries is actually marked according to Moses. Moses came down from, here's the thing, Moses came down from the mountain, was it Mount Sinai, with his tablets and everything?
Oh, yeah.
And he got vexed. Why was he vexed?
Because the people were cavorting and carrying on and worshipping false idols.
And what was the false idol?
A golden calf.
A golden calf. Calf is a child of what? A cow,
Yeah.
a ox, a bull.
Yeah.
So that whole Moses story in terms of the anger with the people and what have you was about signifying, no, you're worshipping the Taurus. You're worshipping from the age of Taurus. This is our time now. You have to let go of that and start to worship the age of Aries, which is the Judaism.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like I said, somebody once described the Bible as a brilliant book of short stories.
Yeah. Well, it is.
And it's brilliant stories, but we have to know how to interpret them. Some of them are there are African people all over the Bible, all in the Bible. But we also need to understand that some of them are astral interpretations.
Yeah.
They're just cosmic interpretations.
Yeah.
So there's much in the Moses story that literally is just signifying the transformation from the age of Taurus, the bull, into the age of Aries, the ram, which is symbolic of the Jewish faith.
Yeah.
Right? Come the end of the Jewish faith, not the end of the Jewish faith, but come the end of that age, we entered into the age of Pisces. Pisces represented by the fish. The fisherman. So you elevate the fisherman, in this case Jesus Christ, as the number one don of that age.
Yeah, because it could have been a carpenter, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Wasn't that his father or something?
Carpenter was in there.
So you understand. So you understand all of these. Going back to Melanie's original question, fish on Friday.
Yeah.
Fish on Friday.
And it's something that black people do.
Yes, we do.
It's black people
I know
do
some
that.
people don't eat fish at all, but come Friday they'll yum that fish.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's the sweetest fish you eat for the whole year. Some salad and coleslaw.
Yeah,
It's a cold dinner, but it's a sweet dinner.
Primary Learning Center.
I'm going to just intercept every so
please.
often with little bits of memes that I resonate with. And for me, a spiritual journey is not so much a journey to discover; it's a journey to uncover, uncovering your own inner nature that's already there. Now, I say all the time that we already have the answers within us. We are just disconnected by a system that is there to keep us disconnected. And as Danny said, it's not about ram dunking anybody else's faith or religion or anything else like that. But for me, it's about understanding that there's a possibility, that there's a consideration of something else and something else. Now, I'm only interested in discussing that with people who are open to discussing that, even if they're coming from a different position from me. I'm not interested in talking to anybody who wants to slam dunk me and uphold theirs. I'm not interested, because I learned a long time ago, in order to protect me and in order to preserve me as the discovering person that I am, I have got to let go and understand, as Lauryn Hill, the agents. I got to understand, even if you're not being a deliberate, malicious, intentional agent, you're not edifying me, you're not supporting me at the place where I am now. So I need to keep a place where I have you. I need to keep that place for you. And we have many different relationships with people. And, so it is about designing. Danny was saying, that black people have this innate need to connect and understand. And that's why, they do flood to the religions in the way that they do. So again, that's quite understandable. But what I'm saying is, it's a journey. It's a journey, not a destination. And if there's anything that's in you that wants to seek a little bit more, because trust me, you cannot start to go on a spiritual journey of understanding and not say, oh my gosh, man, maybe I got it kind of wrong. You can't do that. But some people will still try to hold. And like I said, it's called cognitive dissonance. So that was me and my little snippet there.
But it's interesting if you break down the components of the basic elements of a religion. You understand? For example, if I ask a question, well, what's the difference between a religion and a cult?
To me, it's just one of the same.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely. You know what the difference is? The only difference is size.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the only difference. It's size. If you got 1 million strong plus, then you qualify as a religion.
Yeah.
If it's just 50,000 of you or whatever, they call it a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're actually coming from the same place. Your religion is the same thing, but what we need to understand is that the 3 major religions today are political religions, and by that I mean their duty, their part of their ethos, part of their reason for being is to spread their word. Yeah. The difference between a political religion and I'm being distracted. The difference between a political religion and a non-political religion. Let me describe to you. In Kemet, our fundamental religious practice was Ma'at. Ma'at being the 42
laws of Ma'at.
And the seven principles: truth, justice, divine balance, harmony, reciprocity, and I can't remember the other thing. But we had many deities, and religion was regional. Always been across Africa. There are common elements to it. For example, libation. You travel north, south, west, central. No matter what the religion is in Africa, you will find libation as part of their the ritual of libation. So how it was practiced in Kemet was that, say, in the town of Waset, you may worship Osiris. Because we weren't dealing with one supreme god. We were dealing with the pantheon of gods, or the supreme council of gods, or what have you. We've never been on this individual, supreme god. So, say Waset, they would their deity for that city would be Osa. Excuse me, Luxor. It may well be Ptah. Somewhere else, it might be Isis and what have you. So, okay, you know what? Let me bring it to London, and we here in London, we are Ptah. In Birmingham, their deity, their symbol is Amun. In Manchester, their symbol is, have I said Ptah?
Yeah, you said Ptah, Amun.
Their symbol is Isis. In another one, in Nottingham, their symbol is Set. In Liverpool, their symbol is Sekhmet. Okay. I traveled to see you in Birmingham. I'm coming from my worship of Ptah. You're coming with your worship of Amun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and influence you. You're not going to try and influence me. Do you know what I mean? I respect, okay, I'm in the city of Amun now, where they are worshipping Amun. You come visit me in London, you're in the city of where they worship Ptah. The idea, we went to war for many reasons, but religion was never one of them. We went to war for reasons of land and resources and what have you. But we never ever went to war for make you believe in Ptah.
Yeah.
Or you come to war with me to believe in Osar. What's happening in the political religions now? Political religions. They go to war.
They go to war, man.
And it's justified how? By religious.
Yeah. It's all right to kill.
I find it very interesting. And even with that, there's discrepancies and hypocrisies. I find it very interesting that last year we had that psychotic insanity take place in America, where a young white man shot up a black church.
Yeah.
Killed 9.
And he walked away to get a hamburger.
But this to lay out. The man went to Bible studies at the church. It's a black church. We let him in. He come in. He sat among us. He sat there for almost 2 hours participating in the Bible studies. Then he turned around, took out his gun, shot everyone, shot from grandma to grandchild. Within 24 hours, we've got black preachers and other black Christians talking about forgiveness. We forgive him. We forgive him. So that's the reaction of a black Christian, right? What happened in Paris?
Oh,
couple of months ago, they blow up the place, right?
Yeah.
What was the white Christian reaction
Retaliation.
to that? We are going to hunt you down and wipe you off the face of the earth, and we're going to do that in the name of Christian righteousness. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's those kind of contradictions that I will cuss.
Yeah.
Because I'm not cussing the religion. I'm cussing your contradictions.
Yeah.
Man. I'm cussing. If you tell me, say, oh, no, from the same religion, how is it I slapped you, you forgave me, I slapped him, he's chasing me down the street. What go on?
Yeah.
And here's another example. I'm going back now into Junior enslavement period. This is like 15th century, makes me laugh, this one. 15th century in Angola, Congo. Angola, you had kingdoms, Matamba, Indobo and Congo. And the Portuguese were the first ones in there. And one of the kings of Congo, whose name I can't remember, he converted. Yeah, the Portuguese missionary came and, well, this sounds like a good thing, and I can relate to the Christ thing because it's part, it's I recognize it in my practice. So him say, yeah, all right then, and he even changed his name to King Alfonso. Yes. The brother was King Kugaranga,
and then he becomes
King Alfonso. Yeah, so he did this. So he convert now. Meanwhile, the Portuguese king has started the slave trade, and they've started enslaving their people. This man wrote a letter, and I have a copy. Actually, you've got the book. The copy is the letter is mentioned in Robin Walker's book.
Okay.
Yeah? This man wrote a letter to the king of Portugal and basically said, "What? We're not brethren." I've converted to your religion.
We're not friends no
Why
more.
are you enslaving my people? I've converted. I've taken on the good faith.
Yeah.
I've taken on the good thing. Why are you... You know what the King of Portugal's response was?
Yeah, idiot.
He sent 3 more battleships to the Congo. and
the rest is history.
And the rest is history. And it's like... I'm saying this because this is a lesson that some of us find hard to believe.
Yeah.
There is nothing... there's a certain level where, you know what, there is nothing righteous about forgiveness.
No.
There is nothing.
But that's how we've been. That's how we've been enslaved in that, with the fear aspect, as well as we mustn't retaliate. That's what we mustn't do.
Absolutely.
They can do everything else they want to us, but we mustn't retaliate. No, that don't make sense.
And if we want to retaliate, then we must do it via them.
Yes.
They must have control. We must join their army.
Join their army.
You know what I mean?
Now, you know,
Onward, Christian soldiers.
well, all the song that we learned as we was growing.
Absolutely, it's a mad thing.
Subliminal messages.
And here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Every day now on newspapers, there's this whole media thing about the Islamic fundamentalists. Yeah. And it's all about them coming from a religious thing, right? They want to spread Islam and destroy good people and rare. Every army regiment fighting in every army regiment on foreign shores has a chaplain. You understand?
Yeah.
Has a chaplain. And before they go out on their maneuvers in Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, what do? The chaplain performs a prayer.
Yeah.
On, whether it's the onward Christian soldier vibration or whatever. So when they pray and go into battle, when
It's okay.
Islam prays and goes into battle, they're my devil worship. But when Christians pray and white Christians pray and go into battle, it's a righteous thing.
It's a righteous thing, because that's one of the things that you did grow up watching. Where just before they were going into battle to go and kill people and take over, they done a prayer.
Absolutely.
Who are they praying to, people?
Exactly.
Who are they praying to? Is it the same people that you're praying to? I don't know. I don't know the Bible in the way that other people might know it. But here's another memes: the Most High, who created heaven and earth, does not dwell in the temples made with hands, and that's supposed to be in Acts 17:24.
Okay.
Now, if we understood that. And try to understand that. What is that saying to us? What is that saying to us?
Okay, I'm not sure. I get the vibration that it's spreading. The Most High, who created heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with hands. But
yet there's churches.
Absolutely, and like I said, I understand. I think what this means is alluding to is that there are things bigger than hands, but. Okay, when African people, when we deal with today, when we're talking about spirit and religion and what have you, if you just go back to it, I would challenge this: does not dwell in temples made with hands, and I challenge it for the simple fact that it doesn't matter what your religion is, what your spirituality is, you can't build a church if you don't own the land.
Yeah,
that's fundamental. Why are so many, there's loads of black churches. I mean, there's some massive black churches in this country. Enough of them, I used to work at Goldsmiths College every Sunday morning. We got 3 churches in our Goldsmith College.
Wow.
One in one room, one upstairs,
Wow.
one thing, them kind of stuff. There's a thing on YouTube you can see, which breaks my heart. In Ethiopia, the Coptic Church. Ethiopia was the first Christian nation on this planet, and our representation of our Christianity is a beautiful thing to say. Brothers with afro, sister with afro, all looking to the right. That's how, if you're going to represent Christianity as an African, that's one example, beautiful example. There's footage of a delegation, excuse me, of a delegation from the Vatican who came to this church in Ethiopia, very old church, took out all the Coptic images and replaced them with white Jesus Christ. Yeah. And there are priests stood at the entrance to that church, and they're weeping. They're weeping because there is nothing they can do to stop it. So what does that tell you? It tells you who owns the land that church is on. Because if them man didn't own the land that the church was on, there's no way that could have occurred. So, you cannot divorce spirituality from earthbound things, you know what I mean? But
that's what they want to do. And leave us with what?
With prayer, with prayer, and just
subservience.
Absolutely.
Don't retaliate.
And this is an argument I've had with an argument. This is argument because I had to tell some woman say she a fool. But
that was an argument then.
Well, this is the thing because she the sister was telling me about, and she's deep in her Kemetic things, and she's doing the same thing now. Kemet, we had African consistency there's the new kingdom, the middle kingdom, and the old kingdom.
Yeah.
You're talking about a period of 5,000 years
Yeah.
with consistency, uniformity,
Beautiful architecture.
of things. We know about the spirituality of Kemet. Yes, we know Osiris, Isis, Horus, etc., etc. What was the economic system that kept that? What economic system did we practice that kept that in place?
I think that's the part that I'm reading, but depending what kingdom I was reading as well, and the parts where, because I think I'm up to steel. There was steel and copper. And there was quite a few.
But I'm saying,
stuff.
In order to build what we built, you have to have a strong economic system.
Yeah.
So. I just feel it's as important when we study places like Kemet and what have you. It's as important to know the economics as it is to know the spiritual, because like I said, you can't build a church if you don't own the land. We own the land, we ran it, and we were able to build our churches, our temples, our thing, which our people are still visiting and going back 7,000 years later. So what was the system we put in place that facilitated that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's various theories about it, but I just think that I've met people who embrace the spirituality of the Kemet fully, but that's only half the picture, and that will not, and that knowledge alone is not going to empower us in the way that we need to be empowered.
No.
It's going to empower us in terms of a feel-good thing.
Yeah.
It's going to empower us in terms of
Kumbaya.
That's but that's my deity. That's my deity. Yeah, but you're still sending your children to the local state school because you ain't got no economics to build your own school.
Yeah,
in
cities.
So what economics did we have in place that facilitated us building our something? Building something so magnificent that Europeans came to visit us.
They visited.
Could you teach me how to read, please?
Yeah. Read. And like I said, the part that I'm at was like cities and towns and that lot, and the temples and in the buildings that they had were incredibly and delicately architecturally built to the point where they were coming to colonize, but they still had to amaze at the beauty. Let's just stop. Hold on. Yeah. Before I kill you, let me just look at your building. Boy, you done something good here, And they did have a structure in place that that they lived as a community. They lived as a group of people, and they were economically dependent on other parts of Africa's, other parts of the Africas that were because they were trading.
Absolutely, and again, when we speak of Kemet, it's important to understand. Kemet is the top half. Well, not the half, but the River Nile is 4,000 miles long.
Yeah.
That's a long
river, people. River.
It starts from Uganda and work its way up. What we see in Kemet is the flowering of everything that started from south and came forward through Nubia to Kush, reaching and formulating in Tasseti. So we're seeing the flower. We need to research the seed. We need to research the seed. For example, teachers of Nubian history and Nubian and Kush. And Nubia and Kush, it's estimated, were actually more equal societies than Kemet. Because Kemet had a hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? It had it had the rich and it had poor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we're not we never escaped that. You know what I'm saying? We had rich, we had poor. Now Nubia society was apparently the most egalitarian society that we managed to create in those times of antiquity that we still have proof of. So that's my next mission is like, well, what were they stepping with?
Yeah.
What were they stepping with? Because, like I said, they scholars say that theirs was the most egalitarian, was far more egalitarian than Kemet. Excuse me. I have to drink some water.
No, that's okay. Another sentence by Hilary Muhammad. Makes no difference what language Africans speak if our first language isn't truth. Now that's powerful, people. That's powerful. We have been disenfranchised. We've been dissected. We've been separated. We've been divided. But if our first language isn't the seeking of truth, we can never really get that unification amongst all of us, regardless of what part of the diaspora we've been flung into. We do need to come together. And that coming together, that one common goal we're going to have is seeking the truth. And when we seek the truth and we get some understanding, we kind of create a synergy. We're going to create a synergy. And because I'm telling you, Europeans, they've done it. They executed it perfectly. So how many years later, we are still living with that tiny mentality that we think we can't. And we must sit there. And the amount of times me hear people say, yeah, man, prayer, man, just prayer. Well, guess what? You've been praying for how many years? You've been praying for how many years? Do something different. Do something different. Now, I'm not saying you must let go of your prayer, but understand. Put it in context. If you have been praying to this story that I call an allegory, it's a made-up storytelling.
But then if part of the story is wait till after you're dead and that's when you get
see,
yours.
Exactly. Are you really going to do that? You're watching other people walk with the riches that's supposed to belong to you rightfully by heritage, but you're going to wait for you for dead to get yours? Anybody, I say this before, anybody come back and tell you say it's true? Anybody come back and tell you say? But you're holding on to it. The evidence is in front of you. And the Europeans do know this. And this is why they have hidden it from us. This is why it's not taught. As Danny said, as part of the history curriculum, there is a choice to study African studies. But it's not chosen for many different reasons. And maybe the teacher has no understanding of it.
And maybe the parent doesn't either.
No,
because if you don't understand it, how can you ask for it?
Exactly. You can't do that. So it is about sharing this information. I'm not in a let's blame thing. I'm in a business if you want to like what me saying. I don't care because I've spent a bellyful, a lifetime of listening to something that does not resonate with me.
The Primary Learning Center.
And I think it's bunny rabbit time.
Yeah, what is the... once you say it, then I'll be like, oh yeah, that was it. Because I did know it last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, the Easter bunny has its origins in the African hare. Hare.
Yeah.
Yeah. African hare. The African hare was one of the animalistic representations of Osiris. Yeah. So it was, again, this rabbit was used, the African hare, was used to symbolize Osiris.
Yeah. Now,
what's this connection with the resurrection was that it was particularly significant during the celebration of the resurrection because the hare jumps upright.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The hare, it doesn't jump distance, it jumps higher upright. We observed that, so we use that to symbolize Osiris rising upright from the grave.
That wasn't the story I heard last year, but I like this one. And then green, yeah.
No, come with it. Come with the next story then.
No,
because like I said, there's there can be more than one story.
No, but this one it sounds much more credible.
Okay.
Do you understand? And I think the one last year was about a tongue in cheek.
Okay.
It was a tongue in cheek, so it got nothing to do with
but no,
nothing.
this is a serious thing in terms of the African hare being used to symbolize Osiris, and the fact that the African hare jumps upright. Because, like I said, we weren't worshiping the or looking to the actual animal itself, but the characteristics of the animal. And so the characteristics of the hare rising, jumping upright. It's like, why that fear of Osiris? I saw my man step up from the grave. You know what I'm saying? So it came to embody, and that's why it features to this day as part of the celebration of resurrection. This is how you rise from the grave. This is how you rise from the tomb or what have you. So my thing is like, you know what? Buy your child the chocolate Easter bunny. Buy it them and tell them, say, listen, Osiris, I worship when you do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that simple. You don't have to throw nothing away as such, but just reinterpret it.
Yeah, reinterpret it. Shift your paradigm, people.
Yeah.
Shift that paradigm. Another thing I'm going to read again. A paradigm shift signals a transition from one undisputed model for conceiving a field of thought to another. Okay, because many people will hold on to a piece of information and swear blind, say, the gospel. And, a paradigm shift is understanding that there's another concept, there's another thought, there's another way of looking at things. So as Danny said, it's not about chucking away the Easter egg. It's about understanding and what that represents and teaching that to your own, teaching that to your children and your grandchildren. So when you give them the egg, you actually tell them.
So, I mean, that was specifically the bunny. The bunny. I keep saying bunny.
The bunny.
The bunny. The Easter egg origins is actually in more what they call pagan.
I think that's the one I heard last
because
year.
the egg symbols fertility.
Yes.
So that's the prominence of the Easter egg within the festival.
So that text was slightly
About the bunny and
But there's two different things though. There's
the egg and the
bunny. I can't say for sure that the egg is rooted in ours, because there's European paganism and there's Roman worship styles that are still being practiced in this country, and that you see. So somebody told me that I read somewhere that the Easter egg, when the Romans came to this country, came to this island, the indigenous people here worshipped. The Easter egg was part of their worship around that period, the vernal equinox and stuff. And the Romans that was one of the few things that the Romans let them continue with. Because remember, the Romans were bringing their own god system and worship system, and it's like, no, we're going to burn down this, we're going to burn down that, we're going to burn that. You're not going to worship Mars and Jupiter and all them thing, but you can keep your egg. Hold on to your egg. Okay.
I do like that one. I do like one. And I'm looking at this and I just kind of was drawn to it. And it starts off saying, I am. And I am rubbish with these names because my tongue has been twisted.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay, so Nebuchadnezzar, the very first and oldest name of the one true creator of black space, dark matter, given to humanity, carved in stones hundreds of million years ago.
Medunetta.
Say that again?
Medunetta.
Okay, divine words of the Almighty. Nebuchadnezzar. Divine principles of ancient Kemet. Spiritual wisdom, teaching and right knowledge of Mother Afruka, the birthplace of the human race, Hue,
as in dark hue.
That's it. And pro-melanin, awakening and enlightening my wonderfully created and beautiful people. I'm anti. What's it?
Man-made.
Yeah, I'm anti-man-made religions and their false pagan deities, gods and goddesses that's been keeping our people mental, spiritual, physical, emotional and financially spellbound, divided, dumbed down, captive and ignorant to the documented facts based on physical data. No more embracing and supporting white lies. It's time to marinate my ankh in suppressed, hidden and untold historical black truth. Black power is power. Lift your head up and left foot forward. Mahat Hotep Ashe. What's that one? Irie? It looks like Irie. I got the glasses on.
Amun Ra Heru.
Okay, and there's you may not understand that. To me, I understood exactly what I was reading, and then just quickly breaking it down, they were saying this is what's keeping us as black folks divided, non-financial as well, and unprogressive, because we are worshipping things that is not true, not within us, not of us, not part of us. And you can take it whichever way you want to take it, but I'm saying use the evidence. Don't listen to what I'm saying, just look at the evidence. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the evidence is pointing that there's been this indoctrination of religion into the black communities, into the African community, and we have been dumbed down. We have been disconnected. We have been disenfranchised. Okay. So I'm saying you don't have to listen to me. You just look at the evidence. And if you want to go any further, just looking at what the Europeans are hiding from you, because they've got your bits and pieces. Trust me, they might have cut off the nose just to say, oh gosh, we can't have that. But they've got the information. And it's about you saying, okay, maybe there is something in it. Maybe they're not. But what harm is it going to do to actually just look a little bit further? Look a little bit further, because it's like the battery, and all of us has done this with the remote control. We sat there in front of the television, press. Nothing ain't happening, we carry on pressing. And then what we have to do is, we have to get up and go and look batteries. And then something happens. We can continue to carry on pressing the died out remote control, but we'll still continue to get the same results. In fact, I will argue that's not the same results that we're going to get. We're going to get worse results, because the further we become disconnected is the worse that we are becoming as people. Because as myself and Genesis said several weeks ago on the show, that each generation is becoming worse than the generation before. And, we were trying to theorize what that could be. And part of that, however ill-gotten, however falsified, was a level of culture that we were closer to, because we are the first generation of the Windrush. So we had a level of identity that we could, try and hold us and ground it. I've said this again before. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she's a white woman who is a Catholic. Okay, but she talks about the life symbol, the something that lives, that has to be that dies, that has to be to live again. And in the Christian, they have it as the born again. They have it. So it's there's bits of information that has transcended from one place to another, from one religion to another, but there is a common denominator that runs through it all. And what I'm saying to you, that is us. That is us. That is our information that runs through all these other things. That is the thing that gives you power, that will give you power if you allow it, if you understood it, if you became, enshrined in it and said, okay, if it's good enough for the Europeans to go and rob us of it, maybe I should be looking at it too. Instead of leaving you with the crumbs that they have given you. They know that crumb wasn't going to do you anything other than keep you in that perpetual state of dumbness and numbness, because that's where we are as black people. We're in that perpetual state of numbness. So if you want to feel again, if you want to go forward and progress, not just for you, because you can't do this just for you. You've got to do this for your people, for yourself, as part of your people, as part of the human race.
And bringing it back to the resurrection that we started. Yes, to be reborn. We need to be reborn individually, collectively, reborn. And if you... To be reborn is to know what you were before you died. Yeah. You understand? So who were we before the Europeans put us in that place where we now need to resurrect ourselves, resurrect our everything.
Everything needs. We need to unlearn to learn. That's what we need to do. Our symbols are everywhere. Our symbols are everywhere, including on the American bills. Okay, but what they've done is that they've turned our symbol into a demonic one. I have the symbol of Ankh and the all-seeing eye on my body. I have that. And I remember people saying, oh gosh, it's a demonic thing. Yeah, whatever. Go and read a book. Do you know what I mean? I just could not be bothered to even go there on that. And if you want to have a cross, that's your business. But don't sit there and go and cuss my Ankh.
And again, because what is that? The Ankh is what involves a circle, which represents the feminine, and the straight line, which represents the masculine. What is the crucifix? It's too masculine.
Well, religion is man-made, isn't it? And it's male-led.
And there's a brother, Reverend Roy Hagins. Is it Ray Hagins? He's a reverend. He's wicked. He preaches the righteous. And he cusses out people who wear crucifix, particularly those with Christ, the figure, the image of Christ on it. And he's like,
white hair, blonde hair.
But he's like, why are you going around with a coffin around your neck?
I know.
Do you know what I mean? In the terms of, there is nothing. Just as a symbol, it does not represent life.
No.
Whoever neck it's round, it does not represent life.
But it represents what they want to do to you psychologically and spiritually, which is to die, to kill you off.
And to see that some kind of righteous death. Ain't nothing righteous about death. You know what I mean? Trust me. You'd be laying in your coffin thinking about, so when's the righteous bit coming?
You know, innit? Or maybe I made a mistake. Got it wrong.
Do you know what I mean? But
and I know
again,
it probably sounds blasphemous to many people.
We need to interpret the symbols that we place around ourselves, that we wear on our clothes, that we wear on our skin.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying about these symbols, the African symbols on the dollar bill.
Yeah.
They're there. Europeans put those symbols there because they understand the power of those symbols. They understand
it, but we don't.
Exactly.
It's our symbols, people, but we don't understand it.
Yeah.
We don't understand it. They've taken that away from us. They took it away from us. They are no longer taking it away from us. We are keeping refrained from it. That is what we are doing. We are keeping ourselves refrained from it. We need to embrace it. Like I said, don't take my word for it, because I'm just montering on. Do you know what I mean?
Read.
Don't take my word for it. It's out there if you're really interested. If you're looking at your life and your fellow man and woman's life and thinking, really, this is what we are as black people. Remember, we grew up under a negative source, believing everything about us was negative. That was done deliberately, people. Again, what are they trying to hide from you? Why are they trying to hide it? What do they fear?
So we need to seek out and recognize the African within what we do.
Yeah.
The meanings behind the symbols that they don't want us to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know it, because the mother of all living is Jua. Jua. I love it. I love the fact that, African spirituality is there's a level of femininity in there. So we are. I'm just laughing because it says Africa is the Holy Land, not Jerusalem. But one of the things I was surprised, as I was saying, Danny, that I just started the book, Robin Walker's Start Here if you want to know about it, and it's mentioned Syria as part of in that whole geography.
Mesopotamia and Iraq. And
exactly.
All them, yeah.
And what was so, because, Middle East is a European understanding. Middle East is not Middle East, is the Africas, is part of the Africas.
Absolutely.
And this war that's going on now, believe me, it's got nothing about stabilizing no country. It's about going in there, doing a daylight robbery. It's colonization all over again. But they just don't want, they don't want them to go and speak their language. They don't business if they speak the English language or not. They just want what's in there. That's all they want. What's in there. Now, the 10 Commandments, we grew up with the 10 Commandments. I later understood the 42 laws of my heart. Okay, and the 10 Commandments has come out of that. So which one come first? Please, which one come first?
And they've been flipped, because if you look at the 10 Commandments, it's all thou shalt not.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not.
Yeah.
The 42 declarations of my heart, no, you will not find thou shalt not.
Yeah.
It's for you. Each person to hold up your hand and I have not.
Yeah.
I have not committed theft.
Yeah. Yeah, it's as Jen was saying last week, it's the linguistics, isn't it?
And it's more, and that makes it a more internal thing than an external man telling you don't do it, don't steal that.
Yeah. There's an ownership. There's a level of accountability,
Absolutely.
and that was the Mahat. The understanding of Mahat was accountability,
Absolutely.
Personal accountability,
and it was used almost like as an internal policing system. You know what I mean? Because you know what, you got to go to that temple and hold up your hand and say, you know what, this last week I did blaspheme. I did cuss out my mother. Okay, why? And then it leads to a reasoning. Rather than thou shalt not cuss thy mother. If you do, you get punished. There's no. It ends there. It begins and ends there. There's no reasoning leading to understanding.
No, there isn't. There isn't. Okay. The time is now 2 minutes before the top of the hour, 2 minutes before the family comes on. And, as usual, it's been an absolute pleasure having Danny there explaining the origins of Easter. Yes. Now, I do understand that when you're hearing information, possibly for the first time, maybe the second time, or there's been hints of it, but it's it can come across to you as a slap in the face, and it was a lot to take in, and so I do understand if there's many of you that are boiling at the moment, you know what I mean, boiling. But I would say take responsibility of those emotions, understand where they're coming from, and if they're purely directed at myself and Danny, then you have not listened to what we were saying, okay? And it's more about your egos.
Absolutely.
Again, you don't have to take my word for it. You don't even have to listen to me. That's up to you. But what I am saying is, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? And trust me, Danny will be a regular feature on this show.
Thank you.
Simply because he has the information that I'm also seeking, and things happen at the right time for the right reasons.
Yeah. So thank you, Spirit, and it was good to talk the Ting with my mash-up throat and cough. So hopefully next time I'll be in a much healthier state. And until then, Ashe.
Primary Learning Center, empowering our children to climb the mountains and cross the sea, be the best that they can be. At the Primary Learning Center, Primary Learning Center.
Empower your children. Visit www.theprimarylearningcentre.org.
Primary Learning Center. The Primary Learning Center.